Hi, I'm Raina. Welcome to 4i Audio AI Morning Mix. Today is Wednesday, February 4th. Quick roadmap. We'll lead with a major UK data regulator probe into X and xAI, then unpack a string of infrastructure and market stories, Nvidia and OpenAI funding chatter, stalled H200 sales to China, Oracle's huge financing plan, Google Cloud's new deal with Liberty Global, Anthropic's Cowork plugins and their market impact, plus a market pullback that hit Nvidia. After that, we'll speed through a round of shorter updates. Ready, Jesse?
Ready, let's jump in.
First story. The Guardian reported on February 3rd that the UK Information Commissioner's Office opened a formal inquiry into X and by extension xAI after reports that Grok generated sexual deepfakes. Jesse, quick context. What did the regulators say?
Quick context. The ICO launched a formal probe after reporting showed Grok had produced a large number of non-consensual sexualized deepfakes, including images purportedly of minors and of identifiable people. The ICO flagged potential breaches of UK data protection law, that is, UK General Data Protection Regulation obligations, and warned of significant fines. The report also noted related actions by French authorities.
Why that matters for platforms running these models?
Why it matters. This escalates legal and regulatory exposure for platforms that host generative models offering image or image-like outputs. It sharpens the spotlight on content moderation, training data provenance, and the compliance burden under privacy and child safety rules. One quick takeaway. Regulators are treating model outputs as potentially regulated processing, so platforms can't treat this as purely a technical fix.
Next up, Investing.com reported citing Reuters on February 3rd that Nvidia's CEO Jensen Huang told CNBC Nvidia will consider investing in OpenAI's next fundraising round and in OpenAI's eventual initial public offering. Jesse, what did Huang actually say and why is the market paying attention?
Huang framed the relationship as cooperative and said there's no drama. He confirmed Nvidia plans to consider investing in OpenAI's next round and eventual IPO, and said earlier plans to invest remain on track. The coverage also referenced prior reports that Nvidia had agreed to invest up to $100 billion in OpenAI, though both companies declined to provide new specifics.
So quick takeaway?
Quick takeaway. It signals continued deep strategic alignment between the leading chip supplier and the largest AI lab. That reduces some market fears about a split, and it underlines how capital and compute supply remain tightly coupled to model developers' trajectories.
The Financial Times reported on February 3rd that exports of Nvidia's H200 accelerators to China remain stalled, even after political approval, because a U.S. interagency national security review is still negotiating stricter conditions. Jesse, what's blocking the shipments?
Quick context. The review is seeking added conditions, things like reporting, extra testing, and sales allocation rules, which has left Chinese buyers delaying orders and some suppliers pausing production. The story says AMD's MI325X faces similar scrutiny. Bottom line, inventories, production scheduling, and near-term demand visibility for high-end data center GPUs are becoming unpredictable.
One-sentence takeaway?
Takeaway. Geopolitics and export controls are now a core demand risk for AI hardware. That's reshaping vendor planning and customer timelines.
Oracle announced on February 2nd in a company press release it plans to raise roughly $45 to $50 billion across 2026 to expand Oracle Cloud infrastructure capacity. Jesse, walk us through the mechanics and the why.
Mechanics first. Oracle said it will split the funding about half via single bond issuance and half via equity-linked and common equity programs, including an up to $20 billion at-the-market program. Why? The money is intended to support a massive build-out of cloud and AI infrastructure to meet contracted demand from large AI customers. Oracle even named AMD, Meta, Nvidia, OpenAI, TikTok, and xAI among clients.
Quick context sentence on the company itself, just to ground listeners.
Context. Oracle is a long-standing enterprise software and database company that also sells cloud infrastructure and services to large enterprises.
One takeaway?
Takeaway. This is a signal that the big infrastructure race is continuing, and that some vendors are willing to use large amounts of capital to guarantee capacity and contracts for AI customers.
Reuters reported on February 3rd that Google Cloud and Liberty Global signed a 5-year strategic partnership to deploy Google's Gemini models and cloud tools across Liberty Global's European operations. Jesse, what does this actually mean for consumers?
It means Google's models will be embedded into consumer services like Horizon TV search and discovery, and into customer service automation across Liberty Global's cable and broadband footprint. The deal is explicitly meant to speed up product integration, search, recommendations, and support automation across multiple European markets.
One quick takeaway?
Takeaway: cloud-to-consumer partnerships are a fast track for model providers to reach mass users, and they make telecom and cable operators strategic distribution partners for AI.
Reuters reported on February 4th that Anthropic launched plugins for its Claude Cowork agent that automate tasks across legal, sales, marketing, and data analysis, and investors responded by selling off data, analytics, and software stocks. Jesse, summarize what Anthropic announced and how markets reacted.
Anthropic's Cowork plugins extend automation deeper into professional workflows, automating things like document review, lead qualification, and data analysis. Investors reacted by marking down companies whose revenues depend on manual professional services and data products. The sell-off on February 2nd and 3rd widened into a broader repricing of risk tied to AI disruption.
One-line takeaway?
Takeaway: tools that productize workflow automation can push rapid revaluation for incumbents that haven't already embedded AI into their products.
Barron's reported on February 4th that Nvidia shares slipped as AI-related stocks pulled back after AMD's earnings highlighted China exposure risks. Jesse, how should listeners connect this to the other Nvidia and China stories we covered?
Short version: AMD's results underscored the revenue unpredictability tied to China, which fed into a broader risk reassessment for chipmakers, including Nvidia. That ties directly to the H200 export limbo and ongoing export control uncertainty. Investors are balancing large potential orders against geopolitical constraints, and markets are pricing that uncertainty.
One takeaway?
Takeaway: volatility in AI stocks right now is often less about demand for AI models and more about geopolitical and supply chain risk for the hardware that powers them.
Anthropic outage, The Verge reported on February 3rd.
Anthropic experienced a significant outage on February 3rd that produced widespread 500 errors for developers accessing Claude services, including Claude Code. The company identified a root cause and implemented a fix within about 20 minutes, restoring service, though the incident adds to recent reliability concerns.
OpenAI ads on ChatGPT, Axios reported on February 4th.
Axios reported OpenAI is preparing to roll out advertisements on ChatGPT, expanding tests of ads for some free-tier users. The move would shift OpenAI's revenue mix, supplementing subscriptions and enterprise deals, and sources say testing will be cautious to avoid degrading user trust or outputs.
Xcode adds native support for the Claude Agent SDK, Anthropic announced on February 3rd.
Anthropic and Apple added native integration in Xcode 26.3, so developers can run Claude subagents, background tasks, and plugins directly inside the IDE. It's aimed at enabling longer-running, autonomous coding workflows without leaving the development environment.
Sam Altman on Musk testimony, Business Insider reported on February 4th.
Sam Altman said he's really excited about Elon Musk's upcoming sworn testimony in the company's legal dispute, framing the April court appearance as a high-profile moment in the litigation between the former collaborators.
OpenAI appoints head of preparedness, Economic Times reported on February 4th.
OpenAI created a head of preparedness role and named Dylan Scandrett to lead it. The position focuses on risk mitigation and operational readiness as OpenAI accelerates development of more powerful models.
Alibaba pledges 3 billion yuan for Qwen promotion, Reuters reported on February 2nd.
Alibaba said it will spend 3 billion yuan, about $431 million, to promote its Qwen AI app during the Lunar New Year campaign starting February 6th to boost adoption in a crowded Chinese chatbot market.
Varonis to acquire AllTrue, The Wall Street Journal reported on February 4th.
Varonis agreed to buy AllTrue in an all-cash deal aimed at strengthening AI security and governance capabilities, a move that reflects growing enterprise demand for model oversight tools.
And lastly, Andrei Karpathy warns about Moltbook, Times of India reported on February 3rd.
Karpathy posted a security warning about the AI notebook platform Moltbook after earlier praise. and Elon Musk replied that the project is still in very early stages. The exchange highlights how quickly security conversations can surface around new AI developer tools.
Quick recap: regulators are front and center with the UK probe into X and xAI. Geopolitics and hardware reviews are shaping the market for H200s and chip vendors. Big bets are happening on infrastructure, from Oracle's $45 to $50 billion plan to Google Cloud's partnership with Liberty Global, and product moves from Anthropic and others are already rippling through public markets. Jesse, one sentence takeaway to leave listeners with?
Takeaway: this moment is defined by two linked themes: massive capital and infrastructure commitments to scale AI, and accelerating regulatory and market scrutiny that will shape who controls models, where they run, and how they're monetized.
If you found this useful, pass it on to a friend or a coworker who needs a quick AI market check before they start their day. We'll be back tomorrow with more. I'm Raina.
And I'm Jesse. Thanks for listening to 4i Audio AI Morning Mix. See you tomorrow.